Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to our Indo-German live talk with Boman Irani. So first of all, thank you so much, Boman, to take your time.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And please let me introduce my two co-hosts. This is Anjana Singh. She is chairwoman of Amical and my partner in our festival Indo-German Film Week. To make it short.
Anjana ji, namaste.
Namaskar.
Thank you, Anjana, for joining us. And then we have Raman. He is from Frankfurt, and he operates the Radio Apna Frankfurt. Hello, Raman.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan.
Right,
thank
nice.
you. Thank you, Boman.
Got a fancy mic. We are just using the computer mic, so never mind. But there's something unfair over here. It's 3 against 1, but dekha jayega. Chalo, let's see what we do.
So, but we are always friendly to our guests, so we will start in Hindi. So the first question goes to Anjana. And
you're not doing the Hindi questions, Stefan.
Sorry?
You're not doing the Hindi questions.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Okay, Anjana, let's go.
Anjana ji, so you have the first question from Boman, and I will just explain how we do it. So you will ask the question in Hindi, and please, Boman, wait a second. So give Raman a chance to translate it in English, and then we are more than happy then if you give an answer.
Yeah. All right.
बमन जी, नमस्कार। आपके फिल्मी कैरियर की शुरुआत करीब 16-17 साल पहले हुई थी। इतनी देर से आपने शुरुआत क्यों की? इतना अच्छा अभिनेता फिल्म जगत को इतनी देर से क्यों मिला?
Yeah. So the question is from Anjana ji to Boman ji that he started Bollywood around 16-17 years back, but it was a very late start for such a great actor for Bollywood, and people have been missing that. So why so late, Boman ji, is the question.
Now, what language do I answer in?
In English, please.
English.
Okay, otherwise it will go on forever. Actually, आप ये कहना चाह रही है, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ, बुरा मत मानिए, मुझे मजाक, I just feel like, feel a little in a good mood, that you're saying that I started 16-17 years ago. What you're trying to say is I started at a very late age. I started, I made my debut. Yeah, I made my debut in Hindi films at the age of 44, which for a lot of people is over the hill. But let me make a short answer first. I was just practicing to be an actor all those years. So maybe I was not a very good student and the teacher didn't let me out of the class, and that's why it took so long. But before that, prior to my Hindi film debut, I had done one film in English language film, a digital film. And back in the day, a digital film was not even considered a film. Now everything's shot on digital. It was actually shot on a handy cam, so to speak, which the uncles walk around with at their nephew's birthday parties. We shot a movie, a full-length movie. Before that, I was in theater. And I was enjoying my life as an actor in theater. And because I had not been to film school, I thought that was the best training ground to have. So I was genuinely studying to be an actor. And I was doing theater for about 14-15 years prior to that. A few successful plays and sharpened my skills, learned theater discipline, learned the craft. And then when the time was right, I think it's very important to make your break when the time is right. When you are ready to present something to the world, I made my debut. Everything happens at the right time. We'll talk about my other debuts a little later, but at that point of time, at 44, people said, "Who's this guy? Where the hell were you hiding?" Well, I was training.
May I just ask one question on that? So who discovered your talent then in the age of 43? So somebody must have known you from theater, and you did a lot of work with Radio Irani, a fabulous director. So was he involved in that?
It's very strange. It's very strange what happened. I was doing a play as a 75-year-old man. I must have been 35 at that point of time. I was doing a play as a 75. And then, believe it or not, I can send you photographs if you want to show it I played Gandhi. I was 110 kilos. I was very, very overweight. And I don't know, the gentleman who cast me to play Mahatma Gandhi had some problem with his eyes. And I said, how do you think I'm going to play Gandhi? He says, you play Gandhi first by going to a dietitian. So he made me lose about 30 kilos till you could see my ribs. And that was my training. And then I did a digital film, this experimental film, which I told you we shot in a matter of 8 days. Today, it's the order of the day. People are shooting short films and digital films and low budget. So this was really 20 years ago almost. During my theater days, I wrote it along with a couple of writers. I did most of the dialoguing, of my. And there was a gentleman who saw the edit going on, because he saw the edit and he was watching in the edit studio. He's saying, what is this film you are editing every day alongside my film, which was a big budget blockbuster? And he said, it's a film called Let's Talk. He said, okay, but who's that guy? He says, his name is Boman Irani. He's saying, send him over to me. And he went to his house and he gave me 2 lakhs of rupees. That's a lot of money, let me tell you. And I said, what's this for? He said, for my next film. I said, okay, well, which is your next film? He said, I don't know. I don't have another film. I said, okay, that's 2 lakhs for free, for no work. But he says, I said, then why are you giving me this money? He says, it's a very simple thing. He says, I want you in my next film. I've seen your movie. I think it's wonderful. Nobody saw that movie. Finally, after I signed on, I went to Locarno for starters in the digital section. But nobody saw that film. And he saw it in the edit room and gave me this 2 lakh rupees and says, I want you in my next film. And if you agree to do a Hindi film, in Bollywood, when I'm ready with my film, you'll tell me I have no dates. And that I can't have. So he gave me money just to block my dates. He's saying, next year, December is mine. I said, okay, done. Of course, I didn't lodge the check because I never knew when the story is going to come up. So he called me about 8 months later and said, I got a movie. I got a story. He said in Hindi, kahani mil gayi. I said, okay, what movie is this? He said, Munna Bhai MBBS. I said, okay. Didn't sound very nice. Munna Bhai MBBS. It's the first time you hear it, it just kind of jars. What the hell is that? I said, what's the story? He's saying there's a gunda, a hoodlum, who wants to be a doctor. I said, it's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my life. A gunda wants to be a doctor. Okay. What's my part? He says, you're going to play a doctor, okay, that laughs all the time. I said, am I in serious trouble? This sounds like the most ridiculous setup in the world. And then he said, I'm not explaining it to you nicely. I'm very excited. Go and meet Raju. I said, good God, now who's this Raju guy, He says, my assistant. He says, okay, go and meet him. And Raju and we sat in his office for about 6 or 7 hours. And he told me the story, and he was in a trance while telling me the story. And he was crying, and he was, choking while he was telling the story, and the passion with which he said, I said, there's something over here. This story has the ratatouille effect. It's about a mouse who wants to be a chef. This is about a gunda who wants to be a doctor. And the motivations are right, and the wants and dreams are in place. And there's so much heart. And we made the movie about a year later. And the rest, I think, of the story, totally a long story. So.
मैं पूछती हूँ, जब आप सही समय पे सही शुरुआत कर ही चुके थे, मुन्ना भाई एमबीबीएस के समय, तो आपने कभी ये सोचा था कि ये फिल्म इतनी सफल होगी और आपको इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाएगी कि आज भी अगर भारत में ये फिल्म चल रही होती है तो आम दर्शक रुक के एक बार जरूर ये फिल्म देखता है?
So just to translate the question.
Yes.
Yeah. So Munna Bhai MBBS, the movie that we just talked about. Yeah. When you were doing this movie, were you aware that it is going to be such a big hit, that it is going to bring you to this level where you are today? I mean, today when somebody watches that movie, they stop the movie, they watch it again. So that's the effect of the movie even till today. So how do you feel about it?
It's enduring, it's endearing, it's beloved. People in the country just love it for what it stands for. But when we were making it, you know, honestly, nobody wanted to distribute it at one time. Nobody wanted to back it at one time. Vidhu Vinod Chopra was brave enough to just back it and, you know, do most of the distribution himself. And there's a lovely anecdote that I have about, you know, the last scene, you know, which was at the wedding mandap, you know, with flowers. And we didn't have money to set that up for one shot, the final shot of the film. And so we gate crashed and did some guerrilla shooting in somebody else's wedding. We just went and hid behind the stage, and when all the wedding guests went left and went home, we jumped onto the stage, took our shots and disappeared. So can you imagine? This is how we made the movie. And then after that, you know, it was Vivek, the film was cast differently. Then Shah Rukh wanted to do it. Then he had some spine operation, then he dropped out. Then Aishwarya dropped out, and Kajol dropped out, and Tabu dropped out, and finally we got a 44-year-old schoolboy to play Sanjay Dutt. And after we made the movie, it didn't open very well. You know, it didn't open very well, and it was heartbreaking at that point of time that I thought we had a beautiful film which made people laugh and cry and feel something. There was something very thematically strong about goodness. And then 3 days into the thing, and you know, it was empty houses and it was heartbreaking. And I stood outside and used to feel bad. And then suddenly one fine day, you know, everybody was rushing to the theater, and I started getting messages. We saw this movie. I said, "Oh wow, you saw the movie." A lady sitting outside the theater once on the pavement said, you know, she called me by my character's name. She said, "Hey, Mamu." Yeah, where does that voice come from? She says she was sitting down there on the pavement. She was very rough, and she said, "You know, you did a great job." I said, "Wow, really?" So she says, "Yeah, and this movie is going to make us a lot of money." I'm asking you, make us a lot of money? What do you mean by that? Saying, yeah, I thought she was some producer who had a 3 or 4 string of flops and she was on the street, you know, sorry, state of affairs. Saying, no, I sell tickets in the black market, and this picture we're going to pick up, and this picture is going to pick up, and this picture is going to make us a lot of money. I said, okay. So I call up Raju. I said, "You know what? Our movie's a hit." He said, "Who told you? The trade pundits." I said, "No." "Was it Taranadar?" I said, "No." "Then who?" I said, "The black market lady." He said, "You're out of your blooming mind."
But do you think that will be possible today? Because that is called a sleeper hit. But nowadays, you know, films go into the cinemas worldwide on the same day, and then they are off the cinemas, even the biggest hits, after a couple of not days, but 2-3 weeks or so.
Yeah, that sleeper hit, word of mouth. Once the time is gone, the time is gone. You know, that era is over with the multiplex. But I think the word of mouth, even with certain movies, so we've compressed time with the theater, what's it called, the multiplex theater. We've compressed time. So it starts with the first show. You kind of know. So the first show represents the first day. The second show represents the weekend of the good old days. And then a whole week 2 weeks might represent, say, 25 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I think we've compressed time with the multiplex. But I don't think that sleeper hit concept will ever happen again. Who knows?
Maybe it will work now after COVID-19, when people go slowly to the theaters. Maybe that is possible for a couple of weeks. Raman, you have a next question. Please go on.
Yes, sure. So Bomanji, we are talking about the big hit Munna Bhai MBBS, where you were signed even before the story of the movie was written. I mean, that's one of the most awesome things that one gets to hear. Now, I read somewhere that you had like 14 days of schedule for having shot this movie, Munna Bhai MBBS.
Right.
Now, as a newcomer, you were standing next to big names like Sunil Dutt Sahab and Sanjay Dutt. I mean, Sanjay Dutt was a big name in Bollywood at that time. So as a newcomer, how were you feeling at that time? Were you confused, or were you confident that you are going to bring the best out of you there?
Okay. This is a wonderful little bit of nostalgia more than anything else. That, you know, I was so scared on my first day because I'm dealing with, though I had done a lot of ad films, I'd done about 150 ad films. So I was not new to a camera and you know, the studio setup. And I'm walking around doing my lines. I'm muttering to myself. Everybody's saying, leave him alone. He's, these theater types, that's how they are. Let him be, And then in walks Sunil Dutt. Sunil Dutt sir. Oh boy. And they gave him a great grand entry. You know how they do it with sportsmen? They hold hockey sticks up or something. So everybody held their hands and he walked through a little bit of a, an avenue of hands. And then he calls for me. So he says, where is the doctor, Saab? So he wants me? He says, yeah. He said, where? He said, he's sitting in his van. I said, he's called for me. He said, yeah, just go there. Now I'm in my makeup. I'm, not looking like, I was looking older than I look today. I'm 60, almost 61, but I look much older in Munna Bhai MBBS. So he calls and he thinks I'm older than him. Sunil Dutt Saab thinks he's older than him, but the wonderful man that he was, he would have shown me as much respect, even if I was much younger than him. So he's seated over there and he says, Dr. Saab, I believe you're from the theater. I said, that's right. I'm a little nervous, Dr. Saab. I said, look who's nervous. I'm supposed to be nervous. And this big, this giant of a man is saying, I'm nervous. He's saying, please understand, things have changed and times have changed. And this completely blew me the way he said it. Things have changed, times have changed. And I haven't faced a camera in 16 years. So you must allow me to be a little nervous. Plus, I'm working with the theater actor. I said, no, I'm a newcomer. I didn't want to tell him that, I'm just 44 years old. He must have been around 60 then, I'm guessing. So we went for the first shot, and I don't think in the script it was written, Dr. Asthana laughs. So he must have thought this guy is going to, chuckle or something. And there I go into my fit, saying, this guy is an idiot, this guy, what's he doing? He's ruining the scene. He's saying, Kya ho raha hai? And you see the confusion on his face. He's doing this in the shot. He was so confused because I didn't do the entire big laugh. I was against the big laugh initially, just by the way. I said, this character laughs all the time for what? What reason is he laughing? Please explain to me. Anyway, so we did that. And then he would sit and chat with me for hours and tell me about the good old days. And I was a fan of his, right? When I was a kid, I'd seen his early film, Milan and Khandan and Rishmar Shira. And I spoke to him how he directed and produced Rishmar Shira. He lost a lot of money in the desert, it was a big epic love story, like a Romeo and Juliet. And we had, and it was an experience that I cannot tell you. I was nervous, but when there was a scene where I had to yell at him, before the clap came on, I said, I got to go to the washroom. When an actor says before the clap he's go to the washroom, it only means that he's scared as hell. So I went and I locked myself in the washroom, and I just had to tell myself, this is exactly what you do to yourself in the theater when you're standing in the wings. You've got to concentrate on who you are, not who you're acting with. And at this point of time, you got to yell into his face. Just go and yell into his face. And and you got to be in character. I'm sorry, you can't say that I'm working with the great Sunil Dutt. So I went there and I yelled at. He said, okay. And there's a tradition in good old Bollywood. People used to clap on the set, and one of the actors would say, Talia. Talia means let's clap for this guy. And he turned around and then they said, Cut. He said, Talia. I said, oh, this is nice. And that gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. No, we enjoyed watching all those scenes. I mean, while you were explaining it, that scene was running in front of my eyes. Yeah, let me put it that way. Well, with that, let me move to my next question, Bomanji. I see you as a superhuman. Yeah. There are some laws of gravity, and then somebody who can defy these laws of gravity, he's a superhuman, right?
I'm just overweight. It keeps me down. Yeah, that's it. Okay, but so sweet of you, the way you put it. Thank you.
Sir, for me, there are some rules of Bollywood, and I see you are a person who defied all these rules of Bollywood. I mean, a journey of a small shy kid who had speech problem, who never saw his father, did a lot of hard work, including being a waiter at Taj Hotel, then moving on to be a photographer, entering Bollywood past 40 years of age, and now one of the biggest names in Bollywood. So when you look back today at this journey, how do you feel about it? Do you think it was predestined to happen, or is it some kind of a magic according to you?
Look, I think the principles that I may have followed when I was, say, 25 or 30 or 35 or 44 and now 60, I think I don't see myself very differently from what I was 44. You can, you're so kind and you're such a wonderful young man. You're giving me these epithets, and I don't quite. I'm shy of these things. So if today I'm doing something, if I don't do it with the same amount of conviction and passion as I would have been at 44, then it doesn't work for me, because I do believe I've only just begun in many ways. This sounds a little bombastic, but if I'm doing something new today, there has to be the same passion and there has to be the same commitment. If it's not there, then I feel whatever this fate that you're calling will never happen for me in the next 5 years. Fate will leave me and walk away. And I don't want that to happen, because passion has kept it going. Fate is just a wonderful way of putting it, I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but.
No, I get it, sir. And I mean, it's this dedication that comes out of your words here, that is keeping you going. And then we all love you, sir. Thank you for doing such a great work for us. With that, I give back to Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah, Boman, you have just completed a film called 83, which the 83 stands for the year of the Cricket Cup, which is special to all Indians. You compared it in an interview with the 74 World Championship in football in Germany, like when Franz Beckenbauer hero time was at that time. Can you explain our German audience what made the 83 World Cricket Cup so special for all Indians, and what is in it in the movie?
Just as Germany, is extremely passionate about football. I mean, we know about Franz Beckenbauer, and I think there was probably Sepp Maier in the goal at that point of time, if I'm right. I follow a little bit of football too. But Germany was a superpower in football. Always. And a powerful sporting nation. We were never a powerful sporting nation, and even as a cricket crazy country, we weren't really world beaters. So much so that the other two World Cups that happened before that, between the two World Cups, we had won only one match in the league. One match versus East Africa. Otherwise, we were beaten everything. So we would get out in the first round and go home and say, India is not cut out for this form of cricket. So when we went to the 83 World Cup, we had a new young captain. We had a new, reasonably mix of experienced team. And the plan was that when the first round would get over, they would have assumed that they would be knocked out in the first round, they would go to the United States and play some festival matches. That was the main mindset. And we were all prepared for it, because we were not good at the World Cup, ever. One match, Stefan. So we win one match, then we win another, then we win another, then we lose two, and then we almost get knocked out in the third. And what happened was, I think it brought a country together. And everybody said, why are we always having a little bit of a complex being on the world stage? We're always a little, kaise aap. No, we got to be a little aggressive. And that aggression we never had. We never had it in our bodies. We never had it in our attitude. Suddenly, we're in the semi-finals. And suddenly, we're in the finals versus the mighty West Indies, who had won the only two World Cups before that. There would have been the hat-trick of their win. Now, what happened was, we scored a lowly score in the first innings. And then we bundled them out. And the country went upside down. They just went bananas, because I think there was great belief that we can be world beaters. We can be a sporting nation. We are the underdog. And an underdog can win. It's like a movie. And I'm surprised that since 1983, we win 2020. And it took Kabir Khan to come up with the idea of making a movie about this World Cup, which turned our country in many ways, not just cricket and sports, but in many other fields, gave us a lot of confidence. It's a very, very important event in Indian history, just not sporting history, not just cricket history. So I made a big story out of this. I'm sorry, but I'm very passionate about the '83 World Cup.
I think one thing I'll add here, Stefan, when you come from India, cricket is in your DNA, it's in your blood, and you are always so passionate about it. And that's what I hear as well, with you now, Stefan.
Yeah, it's a little bit maybe like the wonder of Bern, which is maybe more to compare to it, like the '74, because then we were already somebody at the football field. But in '54, it was really the beginning of football, even for Germany. And because of the loss of the Second World War, so everything was down. So we were our how can you say, our attitude was that we are losers because we have lost so many. We have lost the war. We have lost everything. We, everybody, all the other countries have win over us, and so. Yeah, so maybe, but what is, to my, again, back to one part of the question. So what is in the film? So you're playing, can you tell us a little bit about your character, what you're playing in the film? And maybe also if there are plans when the film will come out.
Oh, that I can't tell you. It all depends on, there's a person in the locality, it's called COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard of that. Yeah.
You heard of it? Yeah, it's pretty popular these days. People use that term a lot.
It's traveling around,
It's traveling around. It's pretty unpopular, popular antagonist. He'll decide. And also when we can have our theaters stuffed to the gills. I think that's very important. But I'm playing a character called Farooq Engineer. Farooq Engineer comes from my community. I'm a Parsi Zoroastrian. And he was one of the most flamboyant cricketers in the '60s and the '70s. And he was a wicketkeeper, and he was a commentator, the only Indian commentator, the first Indian commentator in the BBC box. Mm-hmm. And because India was doing well, Farooq got to, go all the way to the finals and, make a big deal out of it. So I'm playing a commentator, and I just wanted to do this film. There is no film that really, I want to do this film. This was a film I wanted to do, because it's part of Indian history in a big way. It's like saying, if you're in the movie Gandhi, Richard Attenborough's Gandhi, I would do any role in that film, any role. And I was prepared to do any role in this film. Of course, this means a lot to the Indian public. So I play a commentator in the form of Farooq Engineer, who was a big giant of a cricketer in his day. I mean, today, I don't know if youngsters in Germany know much of, say, Gerd Müller, maybe. I'm not so sure. They would be more conversant with the present Mr. Müller, if you know what I mean. So Farooq Engineer is a forgotten hero in many ways, and I'm playing that character. I got to go and stay in his house in Manchester and spend time with him. I'm very proud. It's like going, tell a young kid that you can, someone my age in Germany, if you got to go and spend time with Franz Beckenbauer in his house, and he'll take you to see a World Cup match. And he did take me to see a World Cup match in 2019. So it was like a boyhood dream come true. So that's the character I'm playing.
Okay, I understand. So how did it come that you know so much about German football? So you know all the names. This is really funny, crazy.
Yeah, it's also because I love football. I love German football. I think they are extremely powerful side. Always. It's like the great Gary Lineker describes football. His definition of football. He's saying it's a game where 22 men run after one ball and Germany always wins.
Okay, Anjana or Raman, who will next?
Anjana ji, please.
Okay, तो एक बार फिर से हम पीछे की तरफ चलते हैं. मैं अपने मेरा सबसे प्रिय किरदार है अभी तक का, वो है प्रोफेसर वायरस. और प्रोफेसर वायरस आप खुद भी बचपन में अपने तुतलाते थे, जैसा कि आपने अपने पिछले कई इंटरव्यूज में बताया है. और ये किरदार भी आपका तुतलाता था. और जहां तक मैं सोचती हूँ कि अगर आपने बहुत ट्रेनिंग के साथ इसको अपने आप से अलग किया तुतलाना, तो आपके लिए ये फिर से उस किरदार में आना कितना मुश्किल था या कितना आसान था?
Yeah. So just a short English translation of that. Yeah, Boman, you used to stammer as a kid, and in your in your role of acting as Professor Virus, you had to bring it back into your character. So while you had really put so much of hard work of getting away from stammering, you brought it back into your character. How easy or how difficult it was for you?
I think I used to stammer, but I also, the main thing was the lisp. Every time I spoke, people used to laugh and make fun of me, and I used to find something that, I don't know why people are laughing every time I open my mouth. So I never spoke as a kid. I never spoke till my mother sent me to a speech therapist and got it corrected. Put marbles in my mouth like My Fair Lady. Yeah, once I got rid of that, I think confidence came to me. And then, in my head, it was always a complex. When I got Virus, I found him extremely powerful and extremely strong and oppressive. And I wanted to give him something that he could, feel a little of an inferiority. I needed that little scar, that little wound. And I think I needed to turn what was a negative thing for me, a weakness, and turn it into a strength as a character, but that's another story. So getting it back was a little difficult, but the problem was, and this I spent a lot of time with Raju, the problem was that while the character could be funny, you can laugh, I don't find myself funny, and neither does the students. None of the characters think I'm funny. They might make fun of me. The audience could laugh when I'm on screen, but I don't think I'm funny. I think I'm vicious as a character, right? So when I started doing that in a much before we started even rehearsing, when we were getting to the character, and Raju includes me sometimes much earlier in the writing stage. He said, "This now sounds good," and it sounded funny. And I said, "But that may be the problem, because when I'm not meant to be funny. And in the end, when I break down, if I'm lisping in the breakdown and I'm crying in the breakdown, I don't want anybody to look at my face and lisp and say, that's funny, huh? Because it would shatter the entire moment. It would ruin the entire moment. So the first thing that I kind of did, we did a phone recording, which is fine. We did a phone recording of me in full passion, rehearsing the final tirade when I give the pen to Amir Khan. I said, if that works, then we can move backwards. But so in the fun and games part, if it works and people find it, well, it should be so second nature that people should stop looking at my mouth and paying more attention to my eyes, or may pay more attention to who I am and what I want out of life, rather than constantly make this the central part of the character. This is just it's like somebody having a small little hump. After a time, you don't look at it. You shouldn't look at it. And when I screamed at Amir Khan, it's my anger and my frustration rather than this. So it was a little tricky because I did, and then when that worked out and I did it, when you do something with conviction, nothing else matters. It's just what you're feeling at that point in time. That conviction overpowers all the other distractions, the hair, and So that if that answers your question, Anjana ji.
Dhanyavad.
Yeah, actually, this is my favorite character you have. Of all the characters you have played, I can watch it for hours, and now I understand, because you put in so much of effort in making it really perfect. Raman, you have the next question also regarding 2 3 Idiots.
Exactly, yeah. So, Bomanji, actually, when I came to know I'm going to talk to you on this interview, thanks to Stefan for that, this question actually automatically popped up in my mind. I always wanted to ask you this question as a kid, and God has given me this opportunity to ask this question. In this movie, you are writing with 2 hands at the same time, right? And are you really an ambidextrous person, or was there some kind of a trick behind it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. But you made me feel very bad when you said I wanted to ask you this question as a kid. Makes me feel older, man. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? I'm joking, of course. It was an idea that I put to Raju and Abhijat, the writer. And I said, what if we make him ambidextrous? So Raju and I have lots of these arguments. But why would you want to make him ambidextrous? And so first, that was the problem. And the reason that I had was I didn't just want him to be an administrator. I wanted him to be, he was an administrator, but I wanted him to be a genius who became settled instead of doing something creative with his mind and his abilities. He settled to be an administrator, and no offense to all administrators, but you could be geniuses too. But that is the tragedy of the character, that he settled for numbers. And that was so strong in my head that, okay, if he's a good administrator, no harm. But if he was a real genius, then how do I let everybody know that I'm a genius? So I write a letter with two hands. Vallabhbhai Patel, person who framed our constitution, was ambidextrous. And both sides of your mind are working. You can use both arms and both legs or whatever else. And I said, that's the one little time and opportunity I got in the film to say that this guy is no ordinary guy. He's a very, very intelligent and special human being. But here he is fighting with 3 kids over some stupid thing. You didn't do this and you didn't that. I'm going to tell your father. And he's small-minded. When a genius is small-minded, it's a tragedy. And that's what I wanted to get across. Now, coming to your question, I almost got it right, except for the last word, which they worked. I practiced a lot for it, but the last word on the left-hand side went wrong, and they had to touch it up in CGI.
Yeah,
but that's
I think for that, clapping for you, yeah. And
it doesn't mean I'm a genius, just by the way. I'm just in it.
No, it shows the amount of hard work that you have put into those characters. And by the way, I mean, I found an article from ANI dated 15th of September 2019, where a 13-year-old girl actually got inspired by your role, and she actually developed this capability of being ambidextrous. So she could now write with 2 hands. So see, you have been inspiring people as well. Yeah. With that, I give back to Stefan. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll put in a question from the audience. There's Pobi. Hi, Pobi. So she has a question: how much liberty you have to shape the character you play in a movie, and how much back-end personality development you do, and what is your process? So some of the question you answered already, but maybe there's a little more.
Yeah, I think through the 3 idiots question, I think I answered, and especially with directors I've worked with, they know I have 500 questions. They know that I ask myself a lot of questions, and I think it's very important to come to the set. And I have a problem when I have to sit and ask questions on the set. That time is mine. I'm with myself. I'm with my co-actor. If I need to rehearse, I don't need to go. So do you think, that all should happen much before? I think I have because that when you're in character, you cannot be thinking like the guy who's making the character. You're in character now. Just stick there. So a lot of work goes in. And I tell you, luckily or unluckily in India, and I hope nobody misunderstands me. I'm very careful with my words. But the hero is written strongly, and sometimes the character actor is not. And a lot of people say, "Will you be able to do something with the character?" And I say, "Yeah, sure." It gives me a lot of time to sleep with the characters, stick with the character, and when thoughts come to your head in the middle of the night, you make a note of it. You make a note of it and put it down because you will forget. And which means that you're thinking like the character, and that's exciting for me. When thoughts come to my head about the character, I know I've made the right choice. And directors, I think, know I work like that. I go with a lot of options to them. Would you prefer it? We went this way, but you must spend time with the director, lots and many hours. That's how I enjoy I think the fun is the preparation. The rest is just delivery.
Okay, Anjana ji, you have a question?
आप आपने इतने तरह के किरदार निभाए हैं अपनी निजी जिंदगी में भी और अपनी फिल्मी जिंदगी में भी। अभी तक आपको अपना खुद कौन सा किरदार सबसे पसंद आया? चाहे वो आपका दादाजी का रोल हो, और चाहे वो आप जब पहले काम करते थे या फोटोग्राफर थे, या अपनी पूरी जिंदगी में से आपको कौन सा अपना किरदार सबसे पसंद है?
Raman?
Yeah. So you have played so many roles in movies and also in your personal life. So which is the most appropriate or most favorite role of yours in your personal life that defines you, so to say?
Only in my personal life, you say? In my personal life? I think, unfortunately, there are two roles, and one which I'm enjoying very much at the moment, and that is playing the grandfather. But don't let the word spread around, okay?
It's a secret.
It's a secret, but I'm enjoying it thoroughly. The one I think I share a wonderful relationship with my mother. I think she's been extremely important to me as a kid. When when she realized that my grades weren't great. This guy is not going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a scientist. I think he's going to be in the performing arts in some form or the other. She recognized that, and she would send me to watch movies and plays and musicals, and so many. The time and talents clubs used to fly down a lot of great symphony orchestras, from Europe, and I used to go and watch those and plays and movies every day. This is before the video came along. So I had a cinema right across my home. It was called the Alexandra Theatre, Alexandra. And she would ask me, what's running at the Alexandra today? And it's across. So I would go to the window and say, this one, did you see it? I said, yeah. I said, go see it again. I said, really? I said, yeah, go and see it from a different perspective. See it from a perspective of the lyrics or the music or the cinematography or the acting. Just now you've gone and seen it for the story and what it's worth, and for the entertainment. Go and be a student of it. You seem to enjoy it a lot. And every day I would go and watch a movie. And on the holidays, sometimes 2 movies, sometimes 3 movies. And I think she recognized that instead of beating me with a stick to say, get your grades going. Because if she beat me with a stick, the grades would go lower. And I'll tell this to all parents, in India, we have this whole fascination for numbers, 95%, 96%, and still they are unhappy and still they are crying. So you can always spend the entire life learning, not studying, You can do that. But in school, I enjoyed certain subjects. I like the arts, I like literature. But my mother had a great role. I'm going to say this, I hope that, it's not offensive to our audience, but the first role I ever got was that of a pimp, okay, in theater, as a pimp. And I had a 3-minute role, and I can't tell you that 3-minute role actually changed my life, because I said, wow, people are applauding for the 3-minute role. And then, of course, the famous line by many a famous actor who have said that there are no small parts, they're only small actors. And I said, this is fantastic, and I just loved the stage. And my mother was very proud I did that role, the 3-minute role. And she would tell everybody, all her friends, have you seen my son? Have you seen my son? Saying, who's your son? The pimp, he's my son, And she would say it with great pride, because I think she just saw me doing what I always dreamt of doing as a kid. And being one single parent, that's a relationship I'm very proud of. I mean, I'm talking about something else, sorry, Anjanaji, but don't mind me. And then, of course, I have a special relationship with my best friend, who, for some strange reason, also happens to be my wife. So I have a great friendly, we're confidants. We're 2 different people. She likes different movies from what I like, different songs from what I like, different outlook to life. But I think we get along well. She's a great conscience for me. She sits on my right shoulder and tells me if I'm overstepping or, in any way. And I think it's a wonderful relationship. they've influenced my life. These two great ladies. I'm very proud of their influence in my life.
Anjana, you have one more question regarding this lifelong learning.
और मेरे ख्याल से वो यहाँ पे बहुत सही भी बैठता है. आपने अभी भी कहा कि आप हमेशा सीखते रहते हैं कुछ. क्या आप जिंदगी भर सीखने में विश्वास रखते हैं और यही वजह है कि आप लेखक भी हैं, अभिनेता भी हैं, निर्देशक भी हैं, निर्माता भी होने जा रहे हैं, मतलब हर कुछ है, और ये सफर अभी आपका ये कहाँ तक जाएगा?
Raman, translate.
So you have played so many roles, Bomanji. I mean, also in the Bollywood. I mean, you have been a writer and then playing different roles. You have been a director, now going to produce as well. So till what extent are you going to take it? I mean, what is next for you?
रमन, एक चीज और है उसमें कि वो जिंदगी भर कुछ सीखने में विश्वास करते हैं. ये लाइन जरूरी है.
Right. So you believe in learning throughout the life, right? So is that the driving force behind it?
I think so. I believe in learning throughout my life, but not just learning from books, but from people and from experiences. I think experiences are also very important. But I have a problem with only learning. When you read out of a book and you gain that knowledge, what you have then is only knowledge. And that knowledge is only becomes something that you can display in a conversation. And that's not good enough. I feel that unless the knowledge that you are so hungry for is not applied and put to practice, it's of no use. That knowledge is in Hindi bakwas. It's just clouding your brain. You can keep that part of your brain empty for being spiritual, maybe. Don't collect knowledge if you're never going to use it. It's like going and listening to all kinds of religious discourses, going for these, reading all the books on spirituality, but then in real life, you don't apply it. There's no point in attending all those discourses. There's no point in reading about spiritualism if you're not going to apply it in your day-to-day demeanor and your day-to-day actions. So I feel that if I'm learning about acting, I should learn to apply it. If I'm learning about writing, and I've become a writing student, and now I'm teaching a bit of writing myself. I'm not a director yet. I'm going to debut as a director in my 60s. So I probably will be the first grandfather debutant director in the history of cinema, I think. So I need to apply it. And then if somebody turns around and tells me, but aren't you too old to do that? I said, says who? Who made the rules?
Yeah.
Says who? And if your mind, I think that learning, which we're talking about, keeps your mind a little younger, I think, because you feel you're in some kind of institution of your own learning. There was a kid who came to India because he won a competition some competition, and then he came to India from the US because he won the competition to get a small part in the film. So part of it was that, if you win the competition, you get to spend time with the actors in the film. So with Shah Rukh Khan and Farah Khan and Sonu Sood and Abhishek Bachchan and Deepika, they had to all spend a little time with this guy. He's a young actor. It turns out he's a pretty good actor now. So he came and he said, I want to ask you some questions about acting. I said, yeah. So he said, I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from LA. And so what have you done? I said, I did this course in acting and I did that course in acting. And I said, oh, really? Tell me. And I sat down, I started sucking out of him. So he says, this is not what the deal was. The deal was that you were supposed to tell me, not me to tell you. What the hell? He was grumbling, saying, I spoke to you for 2 hours, but you didn't tell me anything. You took everything out of me. I mean, so my thing is, you have to be a sponge and you got to learn things, but you have to apply it. Otherwise, it's useless. It's useless. It's pointless. It's just so that you feel your ego feels inflated that I know about this and I know about that. That's my answer. I'm sorry. I talk a lot. Ever since the lisp has gone, I've been talking a lot. Please apologize.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Boman, you have launched your own production house, Irani MovieTone. I don't know if everybody is aware of that, on 24th of January last year. And but you know, the logo was unveiled by Amitabh Bachchan, so it was a great thing. But instead of a party, you have decided to invite 280 screenwriters from most experienced professionals to first-year students from all over India, and you paid for Alexander Dinelaris, the Oscar-winning screenwriter of the film Birdman, one of my favorite films, and you let fly him down from LA to conduct a 6-hour workshop. So what has been your motivation to do so?
I think the Indian film industry is at a very good point to leap off. There's this whole plethora of new, we have the web series and the OTT platforms and movies, and I think what we have is a great new treasure of story ideas, but a weakness of converting a good story idea into a 2-hour screenplay. Because we don't have many institutions like that in this country. They're very, very limited. And someone told me, you want to be a writer? You must write. So, but I think you got to know the nuts and bolts. If somebody wants to make a table, you got to learn how to, cut 4 legs into proper proportions, and you get a nice smooth tabletop. And then you learn how to inlay the table and make it, a pretty looking table. But first you got to get a table that is not wonky and your food doesn't slide off. And that's the architecture of screenwriting. And so when I started writing my script, I wrote a script, and I met this gentleman, Alexander Dinelaris Jr., outside New York University. And I said, this is my story. I said, it's a wonderful story. What you don't have is an idea of structure. I said, you're absolutely right, sir. And I made him my guru without him knowing it. Mm. And at that point of time, I asked him, so he was a playwright. I said, you've written any movies? I've written one movie. It's a small movie. It's an experiment. It'll come, it'll go. But that's it. I said, great. I understand this man. He understands my story. And, and I made him my guru. Next thing, 3 years later, we used to meet regularly. I used to go and sit at the club where he used to visit. And I used to sit with my notepad and I used to learn. And then he wins an Oscar for that little movie that was supposed to come and go, that little experiment that blasted the whole world. And then I thought, there goes a friend. Because once you hit that big, you're off, you will not have time for me. But it strangely so happened that we became closer friends after that. We bonded, and he's one of my dearest friends. And when the time came to launch my company, because I wanted to launch my film last year, the film that I've been writing, I said, what does one do? Throw a party, do a red carpet, bring a whole paparazzi over there. Everybody will come well dressed. We'll have a few drinks. We'll, congratulations. And then everybody's going to go home and nobody's going to. Let's put that money to some good use. So, of course, we did a 5-star hotel. Why? Just because you're students, it doesn't mean you should not get 5-star treatment. And because you're writers, so there was lovely breakfast, a lovely lunch, lovely tea, but 5 to 6 hours almost of Alexander Dinelaris breaking down and talking to us about structure, cinema, Birdman, and life's lessons. I thought it would be, it's important, and I'm carrying that tradition on, because I think young writers, we need young writers. We've got great stories, but we may not be able to put them into screenplays, which is something that I feel we miss out on, good stories that lose out because it wasn't a tighter screenplay. Lovely story, lovely, but in the middle it sagged. In the end, it kind of dropped. Why? Structure. And that's my mission right now.
No, it's very good that you say that, because I think that will help the industry a lot. And actually, maybe we can win you, because I'm working on a workshop together with Max Müller-Bawan. It may take place beginning of next year. The plan is to bring the team from Unorthodox. This is a Netflix series after a novel. So we will talk about how novels turn into TV series or also films. And
Right.
Let's connect soon. So maybe we can also work on that together, because your mission is really great. And I think it will be appreciated not only by the writers, for sure. They are always the weak element, although they are the most important element.
The most important element.
Yeah, the most important source, because everything is based on the screenplay. Everything started. But Raman, you have the next question, I guess.
Sure, thank you. So, competition. I mean, this is a word that exists in all phases of life. Yeah. So there is a huge amount of dreamers in this world who want to be the next Boman Irani. So what will be your message for them?
Be yourself. You don't have to be me to get what you want out of life. I think first be yourself, and by being yourself, you've got to be unique. Number one, I think, you know, when I do a character and I say, okay, I'm playing a Sardarji, and I say, well, I'm not going to refer to what's happened on screen before. I will have to present something that nobody's seen or approached doing this character differently and make it yours. You have to make everything yours. The proprietary is with you. And you use the word competition. Did you say that? Well, yeah. I don't have too much love for that world in the performing arts or any kind of art. You know, when I joined the industry, the thing was that I had great respect for all the seniors who play the kind of roles that I started playing. And the thing was, they all called me over and would spend time with me and tell me about the pitfalls, about being stereotyped, being typecast, how to be careful, how to charge, and all those actors who were supposed to be competition are my best friends, because they took to me because they saw probably a younger version of themselves. And I tell you, because they're so confident in themselves that they don't look at a new actor who comes into that space as competition. So Mr. Paresh Rawal, Mr. Anupam Kher, or Mr. Onpuri, even when before he passed away, Mr. Amrish Puri called me on a flight. He's saying, come here. He said, son, don't do what you don't want to do. Even if they force you, no matter how much money they throw, do what you want to do what makes you happy. And I think that's so wonderful. The great Amrish Puri called me and gave me this. So who are we competing against? You know, life is not a race, my friend Raman.
Agree, sir. Definitely agree. No, thank you. Thank you for the words there. Stefan?
Yeah, I think we slowly have to come to an end, because we agreed on doing 1 hour, but I think we can go on for hours. So let me ask my last questions. If not, Anjana and Raman has something more. Yeah, you mentioned in an interview with the Ishq magazine that you have a special relationship to Germany, since you have been to Berlin in 2010 for the shoot of DON2. So you have a couple or a lot of German friends here. And yeah, so do you have any plans to come to Germany? And if not, so please take our very warm welcome and invitation by heart to come to Germany, to come to Berlin, and we will put up a special program at IndoGerman Film Week with a selection of your best films. And but first, are there any plans from your side to come to Germany?
You know, I get, you know, this. I made friends during the shooting of Don, and normally when we go to a foreign country, it's always the Indian diaspora crowd that you know, lands up to welcome us, to take pictures with us. I mean, we don't expect, you know, local people to have any idea about the Indian films that we make. But when we landed at the Mandala Hotel, I'll never forget, in Berlin, and we got out of the car, and, you know, of course, there was a whole bunch of people standing over there. Of course, there was another group of a Hollywood team that was also staying in the hotel. And those guys thought that these people have come to see them. And they said, no, not for us. So what are you talking about? I said, they've come to see Shah Rukh Khan. Who's Shah Rukh Khan? He said, yeah, you'll see. And when Shah Rukh Khan came, everything went bananas. And then I would walk out in the morning. I would leave at least 15 minutes earlier than my scheduled time, because we would step out and then we would take pictures every morning. Every morning we'd take a picture, and then they would come the next morning and then bring that picture. Then I would sign that picture, and then we would hold up that picture and take a picture of that picture. And it was so wonderful. And towards the end of it, you know, one day I just felt that they used to stand in the cold. And they said, one day I just felt, let's go for coffee. So about 25 of us, we just went across the Mandala Hotel. We sat and had coffee, and it was so warm. It was so warm and lovely, and so giving they are as people, and so generous. And there was a lot of crying that happened on the day. And since then, I wish everyone on their birthdays, and they have a little party on my birthday. And they go outside the Mandala Hotel and they wave out from there with a happy birthday Boman placard. And I find that if it's lasted 10 years, it's special. There's something about it. And then I get an invitation almost every other day. When are you coming to Berlin? This year you got to come to Berlin. I feel extremely guilty, because there are times I've been to Austria, and I've been to Switzerland, and I've been in any part of Europe, which is not very difficult to try to fly to Berlin or Germany. But this year I was planning to do a holiday with my best friend, who unfortunately passed away a month ago, and I had planned that, you know, I'll take him to Germany exactly a month ago, and unfortunately that will not, but I will come, and I will come, and hopefully I just hope that when I make my film and debut as a director, the film that I've been writing, you know, and it's taken an awful long time, and thanks to this person you may have heard of, COVID-19, allows us to shoot it. We were about to start, but we'll start shooting, and maybe we'll come for maybe a festival, or what you offered me is wonderful. I think it'll be an honor, and I think it's a long overdue visit, which I feel guilty of every single day. To all my friends who and they know who I am talking about, to all my friends, I will be there, and I will apologize to you for not coming in the last 10 years.
No, there's no apologize needed, but we will make it happen. So we will help to do our part on it, yeah, and hopefully we can make it happen. Okay, Raman, Anjana, did I forget anything? You have any last question from your side?
Guck mal bitte in Zuschauerraum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we have questions from the audience also, but I think most of it we have already.
Lisa and Laila.
Laila, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What I shall give you the best wishes from you to Laila. He or she is a big dog lover.
Oh, my Laila!
Yeah,
Oh, Laila,
Yeah.
my darling Laila. Yeah, thank you so much. We are big dog lovers too here. I've got Laila and Gina and Lisa, and lovely European names. Thank you.
Okay, Raman, Anjana.
So, I mean, I think I would like to thank Bomanji for his time from Radio Apna Frankfurt. I mean, we are the Bollywood radio channel here. So thank you very much, sir, for spending time with us. Really a pleasure.
So very glad. Thank you, Anjana ji. You've been so
धन्यवाद प्रमन जी अमिकाल की तरफ से.
आपको भी धन्यवाद. आपने मेरी लंबी बातें, बाप रे बाप, कितना बोलता है बुड्ढा, इतना बोलता है, लोग बोलेंगे. Raman, thank you for the questions and the very elegant translations, and of course Stefan Ottenbruch, if I've got it right finally, for first of all being patient to get me here, and I'm very, very happy we made it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Boman, and hope to see you soon in Germany then. Yeah. Okay.
And give my love to Dani Beckenbauer.
Yeah, we'll do. Definitely. Also, yeah, all the best.
I used to love, for somebody, I used to love one, the left wing, Pierre Libarsky, I don't know if you remember him. You know, he was like he was a left winger. Would you remember the name? And then, of course, the great Gerd Müller, Rudi Voller, such wonderful players.
I realized, so when you come over, we need to do something about football. You know, if you come 2021, then there will be European the European Championship in football, and maybe we can arrange something. There will be plays in Munich, and I don't know if there will be games in Berlin, but we will see. Otherwise, we go to Munich.
We go anywhere we go. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks again, Boman, for your time. Thank you so much for taking your time. And yeah, very curious to learn more about your film. Is there already any shooting date on, or no? So we have to be patient about that. Thank you so much. See you soon. All the best.
Thank you, all those who tuned in. Very kind of you. Thank you.
And stay healthy and safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Tata.